Hey Year 7 to 9s, it's Ben here. I'm in one of the hiding places that maybe you used last week when you played hide and seek. I'm hiding in the creche cupboard. Now normally I wouldn't be kind of just here. Best place is to hide down under there, underneath all the stuff. But you probably know that by now. Anyway, tonight's new topic is on how do I love people or even like people that I don't even like in the first place? How on earth am I supposed to do that? Some people are just really annoying, aren't they? I mean, I don't know whether or not you find that or whether it's just me being an intolerant person. But it's kind of people who have bad manners at the dinner table, who just kind of eat like this really loudly with their mouth and their food going everywhere. It just winds me up. People who talk during movies. So I go to the cinema and I'm there and I want to watch the movie and enjoy the movie, and you've got people behind you talking on their phones. The glare of the phone really winds me up. I don't know what winds you up. Maybe you can talk about that in your groups earlier. This evening I've asked Theo, one of our awesome youth, whether or not he will share a few thoughts to some questions, and here's what he posted to me when I asked him what really winds him up.
I'm Theo, and what winds me up is when people act in a self-centered way.
Hey, just another great place to hide, I'm sure you know by now, under the stage here at Jubilee. Now, next question I asked Theo was, is it actually okay to find people difficult, to find them annoying? And how do you know that when you're finding them annoying, that it's not you and your attitude that is actually becoming sinful? Where does it cross the line from someone annoying me because they're being really noisy in the cinema or eating their food rudely, or, as Theo is saying, just being really selfish? And then when do you know that it's actually crossed the line and it's actually your attitude that needs dealing with? I asked Theo that question. Here's what he said.
It's okay to be annoyed with people because everyone gets annoyed with people. That's just the way that life works. But it can become sin if you don't want to let go of that anger and you remain angry at them and you hold on to it.
Of course, one of our other favourite hiding places is under the secret mat, into the secret basement of the church, down with the rats. And yes, there actually are rats down there. I've seen a dead one. I know it's true. Theo said that one of the things that means you cross the line from just being generally annoyed with someone to actually it being a sinful, wrong thing in you is when you refuse to forgive them and you hold on to anger. It's a good thing maybe to discuss in your groups as to what that looks like for you. I asked Theo the next question, what are some of the signs that you know that's happening with you? Here's what he said.
The annoyance that you feel you're dealing with it with a feeling of resentment rather than a feeling of attempting to be empathic and have compassion towards them, then that might be an indicator that the annoyance might become sort of anger and refusal to forgive, which is sinful really.
Another great place to hide at Jubilee is behind the curtain, through the door, into the dot-to-dot games cupboard. Loads of places to hide in here, loads of things to hide behind and under. Now, just before I get too carried away with thinking about places to hide at Jubilee, let's go back to the question that we're looking at. I asked Theo about the signs, what makes you think about it, and he said it's where you don't act with compassion. I guess that's love and care and thoughtfulness towards other people. Great little piece of advice. Ask God to give you compassion for those you're finding difficult. One of the ways we can do that is by doing what Jesus said, which is by praying for those who we consider our enemies or those who are unkind or unloving and towards you. Ask Theo, how easy is it to do that? How easy do you find it to do that? And actually, how do we start to do that in the first place? Here's what he said.
Jesus says to pray for those who persecute you and love your enemies. And this is not the easiest thing to do in the world. But I think the best way that like you can do this, even if you don't feel like doing this, is just to pray for the people who are like making you angry. And like the more that you do that, if you do that regularly, then like you end up not being angry at them, because it's like impossible to pray for someone that you're like angry with, and then you'll gradually like understand them a bit, and like the Holy Spirit will work in you. So that's a good way of like doing it, not like in your own power, but in God's power, trying to forgive.
And let's not forget the classic orange cushions. Easily hide behind those, and they're so soft. Whoa! Okay, so final question for Theo was, give us your top tips for how you can love people that you find difficult.
For dealing with someone you find difficult is probably just whenever you're interacting with them, just trying to like remember to have like compassion for them, and like if they say something that annoys you, then like try not to like respond to it, because that might just like escalate the situation. You don't want like a big confrontation necessarily. So like just remember like that like you're trying to act with like love rather than like anger, and if that's like something continuous and you're finding it really hard, then try and distance yourself from that person and pray about it.
Okay, so I'm underneath the football table. It's a bit squashed, but it's another good place to hide, especially if you combo it with the orange cushions. And you can even find things like table tennis balls. Anyway, top tips there from Theo were really about being kind, reacting well when other people are unkind to you, being positive, making sure that you do what you can do, even if other people aren't doing what they can do. Some really, really good advice. And it's now time for you to get into your groups, think through the things that Theo said, look at some Bible verses, talk in your group about what it means to love people that you find difficult. Have fun.